Greetings, this is Fred Barstein, contributing editor at wealthmanagement.com. I'm here at the Envestnet's Elevate Summit in Denver, Colorado with Sean Murray, who is the head of retirement for Envestnet. Welcome, Sean.
Thanks, Fred. Good to be here.
First question, everyone's talking about this explosion of the small startup market due to secure and mandates, state mandates. Is it real? Is it going to happen? And how do you think it's going to unfold?
Yeah, it's a great question, Fred. And I think it is happening as we speak. And if you talk to some of the leading record keepers that have sort of specialized in that startup space, and you talk to them about how many new plans they've sold in the last year or two, it's exploded. And where it's exploding is in the states that have the mandates that have already passed. And there's been some penalties that actually haven't come due yet for other reasons in California. But as these notices are going out, their sales are increasing 50 to 60% in California alone year over year. So the assets aren't there, but the plan count is going up significantly.
And the new plan formation is happening.
Formation, yeah.
So we've talked about trying to get and talk to advisors about the advantages of working in this market. We know that most retirement plan advisors, they want to work with larger plans. They have a minimum revenue. And a lot of wealth advisors, they may dabble, but this is not something that they focus on. What's the danger for RPAs and wealth advisors if they ignore this potential explosion of small startup plans?
Yeah, well, I think for the RPAs, they could be missing out on some larger opportunities down the road. Because if you look at California and how many plans there are there's a lot of plans with 100 plus employees that don't have a retirement plan. Right. So you just start to do the math, and those plans become $5-10 million plans in short order, right? As long as they don't get acquired. But for the wealth managers, I think the main risk that they run is, the average advisor's book of business has 7 to 10 business owners within that book. And they tend to be their most profitable clients on the wealth side. Right. So if I take Fred, who's $1 million client of mine, and Fred comes to me and says, hey, I own, a laundromat. I want you to run my 401k plan. And I send you down the hall to, another member of my firm that's a specialist in retirement, or to an RPA firm down the street. What's that other advisor going to do? They'll gladly take the plan, potentially, if they want to. But what they really want is Fred's $500,000 account to get onto their wealth management platform.
And all the other potential opportunities.
All the potential opportunities that are on it. So I think the risk is more on the wealth managers not getting into this business with this explosion, because it's their business owner clients that are now faced with these issues, right? They're getting the notices. So these advisors, they need to work with the appropriate service providers and record keepers to understand the rules and the tax consequences. But it's a huge opportunity for these advisors to help their wealth management clients and retain those wealth management clients.
And one of the reasons that the wealth advisors don't like this business, it's too complicated. It's, it takes a lot of time and effort to do this, and not a lot of initial revenue, although the ongoing. What's Envestnet doing to sort of simplify? Because you work with a lot of wealth advisors.
Sure.
And with your background, you understand the complications and the difficulties. What are you doing to address this?
Well, I would say first and foremost, we're investing heavily in technology that supports all advisors in the retirement plan space. Right? So I think everyone knows we made the acquisition of 401kplans.com about a year ago, which is really one of the only technologies that I've seen that really simplifies the record keeping search process. Right? Okay. It's all digitized. It's no longer a manual process, knowing I got to call Fred at John Hancock, I got to call Joe at Empower, wherever the record keepers may be. So just simplifying that level of connectivity, and but the big benefit is having the direct pricing from each of those record keepers. So with a couple pieces of data, we can put that into our marketplace, and we can get direct quotes back from those record keepers. Right. And it's connecting those advisors and those plans directly with the record keepers.
Right. And even if it's not the advisor, it could be the home office helping the advisor to do that with their wealth clients.
That's right. It makes them significantly more efficient. And we've recently signed on a number of larger broker-dealers to utilize this technology because they see the same things that we see, that they've had this specialist model and they've had this referral model. And advisors, even at large wirehouses, they don't want to give their best clients to competitors, even though they work within the same office building. Right. But they view it as a competition, and they don't want to give that up. So the broker-dealers that we're engaged with, they see this opportunity the same as we do, but they need to have technology that can digitize the process for getting into it. It's essentially simplifying the retirement business.
Right, because it's happening, or it's potentially happening, whether we want to look at it or not.
That's right.
We can't afford to ignore it. And there seems to be big opportunities. So it's great that Envestnet is investing in this, and I know that the firm is looking at doing it.
Yeah.
So that's great. Well, that's all the time we have. Thanks,
Awesome.
Sean, and thank you for watching wealthmanagement.com.